Hello everyone, it's me, Gligar13vids, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sonic 4 Episode 2. Now, I'm going to start this game review off by saying this. Sega, please, stop making sequels to crappy games. They made a sequel to Secret Rings, which sucked. They made a sequel to Riders, which sucked. And then they made a sequel to Sonic 4 Episode 1, which sucked. And guess what? This game is even worse than Sonic 4 Episode 1. Not only is nothing fixed, but they just copied and pasted assets, even more assets and more rehashes than Sonic 4 Episode 1 did. I think after Sonic Generations came out, they thought they could easily get away with it. And second, apparently they decided to bring back the crappy control several characters in one gimmick. Where did they try that before? Oh, right, Sonic Heroes and Knuckles Chaotix. Those two games tried the same shitty move several characters mechanic, and guess what? They didn't end up that well. So anyways, let's start the game, shall we? Alright, so the first problem with the game is the absolutely fartacular sound font is still there. Yes, apparently they thought it was a good idea to use the same fartacular sound font, along with shitty compositions. The graphics of this game are absolutely horrible too. Apparently, while they look slightly better on the consoles, and even though they're improved from Episode 1, it still has that bad indie game look, especially when you consider it's being heavily upscaled on the PC, to the point where the graphics look extremely blurry when you set the resolution to anything that isn't 1280x720. In fact, if you have the PC version, just that it doesn't matter what you have it at, it's going to upscale it like a console game. I mean, there's a complaint thread on Sega forums, so why the hell hasn't Sega fixed it? Oh right, never mind, they don't give a shit about the PC port, and the fact that the PC port's absolutely shitty. Speaking of which, you always have to use controller inputs when you're playing the game. It always has controller button icons, and that stuff. And speaking of which, right now I haven't even gotten into the gameplay. I've just talked about how shitty the port is. Now, anyways, on to the actual gameplay itself. Alright, so the only thing that really seems to be improved from Episode 1 are the physics slightly, and, of course, the graphics seem like they upped their budget from $5 from Sonic 4 to $20 for Episode 2. Except it doesn't matter because either way the graphics don't look that good. It looks like, you know, one of those bad fan remix type games where they're like, OMG, let's just make all these high-def models. I mean, I've seen lower budget games with better graphics than this. I mean, even though their budget was only $20, they could have at least put more effort into the game and not just spend all their time eating at McDonald's and reusing the same engine and code from the last game. Everything wrong with Sonic 4 Episode 2 is back. The physics are not only barely improved, like all they did was go into Notepad and change 5 values, but here's another problem with this game. You see, the music in this game is still extremely shitty. I mean, now I know that's probably some nitpick, because that's all the fanboys do, but the music sounds like farts. It's fartacular, and the music, it's even less memorable than in Sonic 4 Episode 1. And then you've got the forced Tails mechanic. I mean, apparently, it didn't work out that well in Chaotix or Heroes, but apparently the developers thought, hey, let's go and try that again, except instead of Tails doing absolutely nothing like he did in Sonic 2, Tails and Sonic can now do 2 moves. A move that allows Tails to carry Sonic up and fly, which can be kind of annoying, especially considering they put a lot of pits in the level design because of this. And a move where Sonic and Tails have 69 and just roll in one direction, and you cannot change the direction either. And of course, the level design still sucks dick, with all the usual random run through the level platforming easy as fuck, and then dimps-tacular death pits. Not even Sonic and Tails' Super Lift move or Super 69 move can get you out of it. The boss fights especially suck, especially with the music, which is about 5 notes repeated over and over and over again. Yes, look at this epic boss music. Instead of having the epic boss music of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or Sonic 2, you get this. Looped over and over and over again. Keep in mind, this isn't some game a bunch of little kids developed. This is a high-budget major studio game from a big studio. Not some little indie game by a bunch of little kids. But then again, it does feel like an indie game, probably considering that the budget was $20 and it was made by a bunch of little kids at Dimps. But whatever. The bosses themselves are pretty disappointing, especially when the boss pauses a lot while Sonic and Tails have to do their Super 69 move instead of doing the Tails jumping up move. Why the fuck? I mean, does Tails secretly want to have 69 with Sonic and put a sex tape out of it? Because that's the only reason why I can explain them doing this shit so much. And it's annoying! Now, all in all, Sonic 4 Episode 2 isn't that great. It's a ripoff, especially for 15 bucks. And worst of all, it's just not as fun as the older games. But wait, there's more! If you have Sonic 4 Episode 1, and you're buying Sonic 4 Episode 2, you can get the Dislock Content Episode Medal for free. You can also get it if you get the game from the Pirate Bay, because it's actually included in the game files. Don't believe me? Now, even though this is Beta 8, as you can clearly see, that's Episode 1 content for Episode Medal, included with the game. And if you get the cracked versions, which I don't recommend doing, but if you get them, it's included with the game. I'm serious. Don't believe me? Just look at it for yourself. Anyways, Episode Medal is 4 stages from Episode 1, except you're playing as Metal Sonic. Whoa, this does not feel like one of those stupid insert Sonic character here in Sonic game here. I mean, does this even feel like one of those? I don't think it obviously does. Alright, sarcasm off. Either way, it's mostly just one stage out of each, with the same fartacular music and dimps-tacular level design. Except for the first stage, at least, it's extra dimps-tacular. You have more cheap death pits than usual. Apparently they thought this would be difficulty. Just drag a bunch of spikes. Hooray! This shit is automatically as hard as Dudon Dio Ju. Insert some shit here label. It's not worth it, people. And it's not really that good either. I mean, the only people who are probably going to have it are hardcore Sonic fanboys who will happily eat up any crap Sega puts out. And either way, it's not that good anyway. I mean, it's dimps-tacular and there's only 4 levels too. You can't play through the whole game as Metal Sonic, just those 4 levels. I don't know why they did that though. I mean, this isn't the Wii. They could have at least tried putting the whole thing in, but maybe that was too much for Sega. And even then, it's Dislock content, so who cares anyway? You'll only get it if you own Episode 1, or have the copy from the Pirate Bay, or a JTAG, since knowing them, they're probably going to unlock it, but that's another story. Another thing, remember the Sonic Episode 2 Beta 8? Remember Beta 8? Guess what? That's exactly the same as this game. All the problems from Beta 8 are still here. Left to right to win, and of course, the glitchy physics, and best of all, supersonic. In fact, remember when I made the Beta 8 glitch video showing about Supersonic's craptacular physics? Guess what? They're still shitty. When you just jump in air, Supersonic will still lose all momentum. That's right, people. You're still getting ripped off. It's exactly the same as Beta 8. Just save your money and put it toward a better game. If you played Beta 8, there's no use in getting the full version because it's the exact same thing. So all in all, this game sucks, and don't buy it. All in all, Sonic 4 Episode 2 is another disaster, especially with the crappy level design, the poor music, the poor gameplay, and the poorly implemented Tails mechanics. It also has a co-op mode, but why would you want to play that? And another thing, the red cutscenes in the level do absolutely nothing. No hidden endings, no nothing. They do as much as the silver medals in Sonic 06. Nothing whatsoever. So all in all, don't waste your money. It's 15 bucks. You could put the 15 bucks toward a good used game or an older game, or crack. Yeah, crack would be better than this game. I'm serious. All in all, thanks for watching, and sub for more.